Just got these from Rhino Records in the mail, the complete Stax singles, the final 2 installments, Volume 5 and Volume 6. Each one's a 3 LP set. They are replacing the legendary black box that came out in 1991. This was on CD, and some of the best music ever recorded. I think it's 8 or 9 CDs, and you can tell it's a little well-worn. It's been dragged to a lot of parties and lent to friends. It's been the top of my wish list of things that I had on CD back in the day I wish would come out on vinyl. Stax was responsible for the sound of Southern soul, a raw, emotional style rooted in gospel and the blues. They were commercially successful, but also had a racially integrated roster of artists and staff, which was a rarity in the segregated South in the 60s, and launched the careers of Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Booker T and the MGs, Isaac Hayes, and Booker T was the house band at Stax, so backed the artists on most of the recordings of Stax. So like I said, each one of these is a 3 LP set. 5 and 6 just came out. Starting back in 2024, they released Volume 1, Volume 2, 3 and 4 came out later, and now with 5 and 6, the complete 18 LPs. A total of 244 songs in this collection. Gritty, deep Southern soul. This is essential music, and also, I mean, while I'm at it, I mean, you should have. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't have several of the albums by the individual artists. I mean, Sam and Dave only put out 4 records. You should have all Sam and Dave records. Otis Redding, not many more. Booker T and the MGs, some of the most essential records of any collection. Soul Dressing, Green Onions. And now, highly recommend everybody should have every one of these. Soul Limbo, Hip Hugger, and that's kind of the classic run. But then in '70 they did their, if you don't know, their tribute to Abbey Road. Wow, knock your socks off. They did the entire album of Abbey Road. And Melting Pot '71, their last great album, and it's a little more progressive sounding, and it's not really prog, but more so than the early stuff, but they went out on a high note with this one. And Booker T, years later, I think this is 2008, did an album called Potato Hole with the Drive-By Truckers and Neil Young on guitar. If Booker T and the MGs were a Southern rock band, this is what it would sound like. So, fantastic stuff. Get the Stax singles. I mean, start buying one at a time. Like I said, it's the greatest music ever made. Next up, Grant Green. I've got another blaxploitation soundtrack to add to the collection. This is Grant Green, The Final Countdown, came out in 1971. This is his 28th record. Pretty staggering. The first soundtrack for Blue Note. Not your typical jazz funk of Grant Green's era of that time. It's a blaxploitation soundtrack, and with that means some tracks are going to be suspenseful, some tracks are going to be thrillers. Unfortunately, you're going to have some of those slower tracks that every soundtrack, every blaxploitation soundtrack has. There's usually one per side. You just have to deal with it. But at the end of the day, it's still a great, it's a funky blaxploitation soundtrack, and it's Grant Green. You can't go wrong. Collections, Jerk Boom Bam. I've talked about this before. Finally, there's 10 Jerk Boom Bams, and this is the Volume 8, and I need Volume 4, and I'll have all 10. Love my collections. There's Desperate Rock and Roll, there's Frolic Diner, there's Las Vegas Grind, there's Stompin', just to name a few. And this, typically late 50s through mid 60s, is where all these collections kind of mine. This features American Soul from that period, and it's a wild party. If you get a chance, check out Jerk Boom Bam online. And they're not that expensive. They're over 20, probably 30, 40 bucks, depending on where you find them. And finally, I got the last line, The Family Stone. No, it's second to last. I still need Dance to the Music. This came out in '69, and it's psychedelic soul. It's the complete opposite of Riot Going On that came out in '71. This is positive, it's life-affirming, it's upbeat. This is where it all came together. The funk with the great pop songwriting, the psychedelic guitar. This is their definitive record, so only one more needed to have what I think of the definitive 5, Sly and the Family Stone. And that's what it's like to be a record collector. Thanks.